On this episode of Nerdy Dating, we're going to talk about the lessons from dating somebody who might not have the same interests as you, or who tries to change you and you change for them to think it'll work out, and sometimes it goes south. And this episode of Nerdy Dating is pretty much by a guy who got divorced over Yugioh. What's up, world? Welcome to the episode of Nerdy Dating. I am your host, Zakka. Thank you guys for watching and supporting the series. I appreciate y'all. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. We're back here in season 3, and let's go ahead and hop into it. So this guy, his name, I don't even know his actual name. He just calls himself the Yugioh channel right now on YouTube. He has had a channel for 11 years. He has had over millions to 100,000s, consistently in the 50,000 on up videos when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! He's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel. If you don't know what Yu-Gi-Oh! is, it's a card game similar to Pokemon, similar to Magic the Gathering. Huge in the early 2000s. You have the character goes Yu-Gi-Oh! when he transformed to a guy who's named the Pharaoh, and they duel each other and pretty much save the world. Pretty much, it's handling business and issues over a children's card game. Children's card game. Yes, this is how the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Set up. People have problems. Instead of shooting each other with guns and fighting with their fists, they handle their business with Yu-Gi-Oh! Which there is a card game you can play, and those who, you nerds out there, the fellow nerds out there who played Yu-Gi-Oh!, you know the card game is traps, magic, or now spells, whichever you call it, and monster cards. Now there's other stuff in there, but in reality, you have 8,000 life points, and you want to drop somebody's life points from 8,000 to 0 using magic, spells, and traps and monster cards. That's the gist of Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, this dude had a channel over a passion. That is Yu-Gi-Oh! And we're going to listen to his side of things, and we're going to pretty much break down and react to his video. Now, this video is 13 minutes and 41 seconds long. However, I want to give you guys his whole story because he breaks everything down. And I'm going to start the video in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Straight out the way. I am no longer married, and I'm divorced. When I met this woman, I told her about my Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. She hated it. She didn't like it. She said that, hey, you could do something better with your life. You should go back to school. So you know what I did? Back in 2016, I sold all my equipment. I sold my YouTube channel. I sold all my camera stuff. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. Maybe it's time for me to do something better with my life. Not knowing that at that time, what I had was very special. At that time, something that I chose to do, YouTube, I had something going on. Even though I had some drama and stuff going on before, and I shut down my channel a few times, I had something that I completely gave up. I gave it up because someone said, hey, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. You got to do something better with your life. There's got to be something more for your life. And I sold all my stuff for a woman. And she's no longer here. And this problem persists. She told me at that time, hey, you want to meet my mother? You need a car. Because I didn't have a car at the time. I was doing YouTube. I was working from home. I didn't need to drive anywhere. Yes, YouTube is what I did for a living. It's how I paid my bills. And I was street performing also. How did I street perform? I just catch the bus 20 minutes down the street, played my horn, went home. I never needed a car. But when I met this woman, you have to go back to school. You have to exercise. You have to get your degree. You have to do something better with your life. Even though I explained to her, this is what I chose to do. A woman comes in your life and try to tell you the plan that you chose for your life is wrong. And out of love, I choose to say, you know what? Maybe she's right. And I took a chance. I took a chance. I said, you know what? I'm going to give this up completely. Like, for good. Sold the channel to Jobber. Sold all my stuff. Tried to go back to school multiple times. There's some... I don't want to say that I can't finish school. But it certainly feels like I can't. I don't know what it is. And every time I talk to people They just think that everything I say is just an excuse. You are a grown man. You are an adult. You can do it. It's like no one can see it from my perspective. It's like I am always wrong. When I study, what I fall asleep. What do they say? Hey, you're lazy. You're procrastinating. You're choosing not to do this. And I'm like, that's got to be something wrong with me. When it comes to school, studying, and staying on task and staying focused, I just can't do it. And I try. And I go back to school. And I pay all this money. And I pay all this money. And I pay all this money. And I fail. And I fail. And I fail. And I fail. Music has always been there for me. And I've always been great at it. People say that, hey, they try to test me. They say, hey, you know music, right? You know this person? No. Do you know this person? No. You know this person? No. Well, how are you a musician? I also get people say to me, hey, what key is this in? I say, I don't know. Like, well, they say, well, how are you playing? How are you a musician? How do you play so well? I am not the type of person who is book smart or knowledgeable. I don't know things, but I know how to do things. I know how to do things physically in a creative way. I'm not a type of person who retains things and hold on to things, who can read a book and then take a test, pass it, and go on. That's not me. I am a creative-minded person. Anything that involves creativity, I can do, at least to some degree, where people are like, wow, you do it so well. You ever thought about going to school? No, I tried. It doesn't work. This is all tying together.
I'm going to pause it right there real quick. So he talks about, Yugioh, he talks about how he gave that up for love. So he dating somebody who doesn't like the things he's into. And that person that even though they didn't like it, they didn't want to support the things that he wasn't into. And they didn't want to, take the time to understand what his world was about. And he was like, all right, cool. I'm going to do this for love because I want a partner. I want to build a successful life with somebody. I'm going to give that up. That's a decision he made. He made that decision. And then he enjoys street performing, and he enjoyed that, but he gave that up as well to pretty much try to please his wife, please the woman he loves, and show like, hey, I can do this for you. I can go to school and get a degree, but he struggles in school. There's a lot of people out there who school is not for them. College is not for them. They are going to go to college and spend this time trying to learn and study, but like he said, I can't focus in school. I can't do it. It doesn't interest me. It doesn't excite me. But Yugioh, from what it sounds like and from looking at his channel, does excite him. But let's keep going here.
They asked me, hey, what do you do for a living? I had to tell them I am a musician. I couldn't tell them I was a street musician. I am a musician. Then they said, hey, you have a degree? I said, I don't have a degree. My ex-wife parents did not speak to me for 2 years and told her not to marry me because I don't have a degree. What sense does that make? So I give up this YouTube thing. I give up my entrepreneurial things. I try to do something that's not innately a part of my strengths at all because I'm thinking I'm in love to do something for somebody to prove something. And this continues on through the marriage. She says, hey, you need to find a hobby. I'm like, oh, let me play Yugioh again. So last December, last year, I start my channel up again. I buy my channel back from Java. Like, oh, she gave me the okay to go into a hobby. You know what she said? You're spending too much time playing those cards. It's either the cards or me. She literally said that. I'm like, you just said I need a hobby. I get into a hobby, and now you said I'm doing it too much. What is it? What do I do? She says, why are you into those cards so much? I said, hey, I need to make a video about something. And I haven't played this card game for 2 years, on and off. How can I make a video for my subscribers about something I have no knowledge of? And I try to explain it to her, but she don't get it. She thinks it's just cards you pick up and you just play like Uno. It's not that way. Every 3 months, a new set come out, new stuff come out. I can't make a video about something if I don't know what it's about. I can't start my channel back up and just start making videos. I have to be in it. I have to learn about it and learn what's going on. She hated those cards. She literally cried because of those cards. And people say, hey, priorities, man. It's your wife, or, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But then I'll be back at that point where I'm giving up things that I like, things that's a part of my life for someone else to feel happy. And I feel miserable in the process. I'm sitting there watching all these YouTubers come out and make videos and do all this stuff. They're traveling. I'm like, that's what I used to do. I love that. I miss that. Why can't she come along with my journey instead of scrutinizing me? And then that's money gone from me. It's not about the money.
So I want to sit on that for a moment real quick. So he talks about how she told him to get into a hobby. And then he got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And she's like, why are you so invested in these cards? Why are you so invested in Yu-Gi-Oh! And why are you playing with these cards? Now, Yu-Gi-Oh! I was talking about this with a group of friends the other day, and my girlfriend as well. We were talking about how Pokemon doesn't really change. The card game Pokemon didn't really change. Magic the Gathering, I believe, changed, but I never played Magic the Gathering. Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually changes over time. Since the birth of Yu-Gi-Oh! and the Yu-Gi-Oh! card game, for example, Pot of Greed, I think is banned now. Or it's somewhere there. Polarization has been changed. We fuse two cards together. I'm talking really nerdy stuff here. But the game changes. So if you get back into Yu-Gi-Oh!, you have to learn the card game again. You gotta learn the system. Like, he actually had character backgrounds on some of his early episodes of his YouTube channel. He had like what this character's lore is and this character's lore is. Well, the character's lore can change over the year. They introduce new cards, and now those cards are different. The Ajamas are probably different. If you watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about really nerdy stuff here when it comes to this. So he needs to dive into, you know, that card game and go into the details of it. But he wasn't pumping out videos every week. He was pumping out videos maybe once a month, once every couple of months. So he's hopping back into this hobby, and she is not accepting of it. She's thinking he's wasting his time when he's like, I'm making money doing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I can travel with this. He's talking about how he's, you know, doing these things where he's living life, not working, you know, all the time. He make enough money off of YouTube. Couple million videos and people watching that, and he monetized that. He's making bank. So he's making good enough money from this, but she sees it as not valuable. She sees it as like, okay, this is not what I think somebody who's successful making money. You know, he is successful in his world. He's a successful YouTuber. She's like, you can't sustain that. You're not gonna be able to, you know, provide for me. In a sense, and she's coming from this land, is like, you're not successful in my eyes. What's success to me and my parents think getting a college degree is successful. Having a normal job is successful. So he's combating that with this, where he's like, okay, I want to please you, but it's making me miserable. And I don't care if you're guy, woman, whoever you are, if you're sitting there trying to appease somebody else while struggling and suffering, that's not a happy and healthy relationship. And that's what he finds himself in. So let's continue this journey with him. We got about, what, 6 minutes left?
That was money gone from me. Then street performing. I said to her, hey, I don't want to move away from Baltimore. You might be thinking, why? That's where my home base is. My gigs, my performances, everything. Keep in mind, I didn't have a job. Like, when I say I don't have a job, like a real job. A real job is, you know, going in 9 to 5. I didn't have a real job for over 10 years. It was YouTube and playing my horn. That's how I paid all my bills. So when we got married and we moved out to Baltimore to somewhere else that I didn't want to be, she said, hey, how come you're not paying the bills? And I was like, what? I have a job. I have a 9 to 5 job. I don't make enough from this 9 to 5 job to pay all these bills. Before then, I could street performing in YouTube. I made enough money off of that to pay the bills. Now I'm working 9 to 5 all day long, and that's not a complaint, because there are people who do that. But I had something that most people wish they had. Most people wish they can go out, make some money, pay their bills, and have all day off. That was a gift. That was something that I had. Now, you can take this video as me complaining, crying, I messed up. It is all of that. It is true. I am complaining. I am hurt. I made some mistakes. I did some dumb things. And you're right. It is my fault. I chose to sell my channel. I chose to give up this thing, not realizing, say, you know what? This is my YouTube channel. This is my life. You can't come into my life and dictate to me and tell me what's better for me because you don't see it from my perspective. And then get mad at me when I lose all of those things that I can't do, and I can't do what you think I should do. I've never been that way. It's like you're trying to tell me to walk or run a lap or a race with no legs. You're trying to tell me to do something that I innately just cannot do. And when I say I can't do that, it's just an excuse. So I'm moving out. In 2 weeks I'll be moving out. I'll have my own place again. I'm starting my life over. And you guys know I couldn't make videos when in the house. The only time I can make YouTube videos is when she's gone. And you might be thinking, oh, why is that? She would come in here from her room and say, hey, you're too loud. Hey, I'm trying to read. I'm like, wait, what? I gotta talk. I gotta make a video. I'm disturbing her. And yes, I'm venting and I'm ranting. If you stayed this long, thank you. If you didn't, it's okay. But I needed to get this off my chest because it was brewing. I am deeply hurt. And I hurt myself. I don't blame her at all. Everything that I've chosen to do is because I wanted to do it. I wanted to make someone happy. I thought I can be that person for someone else, and I thought I can do it. I thought I can get away from YouTube and Yugioh and street performing. I thought I can go back to school and pass and get a real job and make some good money to pay all my bills. I thought I could be that man who could do those things. But the truth is, I have special gifts and talents that other people wish they had to be able to pay and make money and do things in ways people wish they could. It's ironic, isn't it? It's ironic that I wish that I can go to school and work a 9-to-5 job all day long to pay all my bills. It's ironic that I want to do what people hate to do. They hate to go in and live a mundane life. They hate that. And they want to have their own business. They want to make their own money. They want to have their free time. I had that. Mm-hmm. I had that. Literally, I would work 3 hours a day, and have enough at the end of the month to pay all my bills and do whatever I need and travel. But that wasn't good enough for the person I was with. It wasn't secured enough. What if you didn't make enough was the question. What about medical bills? What about this? What about that? What about retirement? What about all the stuff? I truly want to do YouTube full time. Not for a living. Yes, money comes along with it. And yes, my channel is dead. But I'll do it as a hobby because I like doing it and I can't give it up. I've made a video about not giving up before. I said I would never give up. I just can't. I enjoy making videos. I enjoy playing Yugioh. I enjoy being with my friends and doing those things. Even at this age, even 15 years later. I'm done. Thanks for watching. You can leave a comment. Tell me. I will. I'm stuttering. If you guys did not know, I have a speech impediment. Some of you guys say, hey, why you stutter? Why you sound like Bill Cosby? I have a speech impediment. I never told you guys that. Just realized that. Wow. All right. I'm gone.
So that is the end of the video there. And the lesson really with this situation that's really heartbroken, and a lot of people do it, is that they will sacrifice themselves to be with a person versus being themselves, and the person they meet like fits and accepts them. Like, if he was in a healthy relationship and he wasn't trying to sacrifice who he truly was at his core value, he wouldn't have to give up Yu-Gi-Oh! He wouldn't have to sacrifice the things he loved doing, his hobbies, to appease his partner. His partner will be there like, okay, he does Yu-Gi-Oh! That's fine. You know what? I might not be 100% into Yu-Gi-Oh! I might not even care what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, but I'm going to support him, and vice versa, as he should support his partner into whatever hobbies and things they're into. If it's not detrimental, hurting their health, killing them, or whatever the case may be, it's okay to support your partner's passions and hobbies. And if you don't get it, you can try to learn it. You can try to watch them, enjoy it. It's watching your partner in their element and thriving in their element should give you just as much joy as them watching you thrive in your element as well. He sacrificed that to be with somebody, and he found the ending factor of it was she could not date somebody who was involving Yu-Gi-Oh! Into something that she didn't like. And he realized he could not continue, I don't say date anymore, because they're married, could not be with a partner. They realized they couldn't be with a partner who, one, they do not agree on a certain hobby together, and they realized that right there was the breaking point of the relationship, because he wanted to be him, and he realized he was lying to himself trying to appease her. She has a certain standard. She wants somebody who has a college degree, because her parents also probably putting pressure on her to make sure that she's dating somebody who has a college degree, because, oh, you might be a millionaire. Well, I'm not sure he is a millionaire. I'm just saying this for the fact he might be a millionaire. He might be able to cover his medical expenses, might be able to cover everything and travel, but because of the fact that in the future that money might not be there. Now, heck, he could be a saver. Could be saving his money, investing his money and stuff while doing Yu-Gi-Oh! And traveling. He could have had a bank of money right there. But if she's only looking at the dollar, that's not gonna matter, because she's like, well, when in the future, what happens if the Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel's not there and now you're broke? That can happen with any job. That can happen with the college degree job. That can happen with something else. You can get laid off and be broke. So money's gonna come and go. And this is somebody, I don't care if it's a guy or girl, date somebody who accepts you who you are. You don't have to change who you are to be with somebody. If you feel like in your core value that you cannot give up a hobby or give up who you are, if that's part of who you are and you try to give that up to be with somebody else, you're going to find yourself miserable like he was and struggling. He said, I want a 9-to-5. I want to be able to do that, but I can't do that. He said, I would love to have that job where somebody goes from 9 to 5 and have a mundane life. He's like, that's just not me. I don't do that. And the reason why he wants that, because he knows on the dating market, it'd be a lot easier for him to sell himself to somebody, and to a woman or a partner who like, oh yeah, I have a 9 to 5, I have a pension, I have X, Y, and Z. They'd be like, oh my gosh, he has money, he's working 9 to 5, but he's miserable every single day. It's a lot easier to sell that versus saying, hey, I'm a YouTuber, I make X amount of dollars doing this pays my bills, pays everything, and you know what? This is who I am. You gotta accept me or leave me. And he doesn't have to sacrifice who he is. Like today's age now with dating apps, you can meet people from across the world. You can meet people via social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever the case may be. You can meet people all over the place. You don't have to meet people in your local small community anymore. He can find somebody who's into Yu-Gi-Oh! Just as much as he is. Or he can find somebody who's into card games and playing cards and trading cards. Or is just into the nerdy universe. He can find somebody who's into that as well, who will be willing to accept it and not make fun of him for being into something no matter what age he is. And she can find a guy or a woman who is also into the things she's into, who wants to have that 9 to 5, who's okay talking about finances, okay talking about, well, I have, this saved up my piggy bank in case, we get sick, or I have this for kids, or I have X, Y, and Z. I'm willing to bet Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not the only thing that broke their marriage up, but it's probably the big factor that his hobbies and who he genuinely was at his core could not be expressed within his relationship. And I don't care if you're a guy or girl, you definitely need to date somebody where you can express who you are within your relationship without having to feel like you are being made fun of, without feeling like you're being held down, without feeling like pretty much sacrificing yourself. There's no need to sacrifice your core values, your core person, who you truly are at your core, to be with somebody. There's too many people out here nowadays to do that. If you're dating somebody and they just don't match with you for whatever reason, if you a big part of your life is a hobby, whether that's working out, whether that's rock climbing, whether that's Yugioh, whether that's hair, whether that's fashion, whether that's shoe collecting, whatever the case may be, if it's a hobby and you like, let me go travel to the latest Gucci shoe collection store, or latest Gucci shoe collection drop, or the next Michael Kors fashion show, or go to the next Chiefs game I'm in Kansas City, so it's further than came to mind, or the next Yankees game, or the next Lakers game, or I want to go follow and go to different, every year travel to a different national park, and that person you're with is not like, yeah, it just doesn't work for me, brother. I can't get into that. Or they're like, you know what? I don't like that. I don't think you should travel to go look at national parks. I don't think you should travel to go to a Lakers game. I don't think you should travel to go to a fashion show. Or why are you putting so much time into fashion or drawing or X, Y, and Z? Even if a person judging you from the jump or judging you months in, you shouldn't be with that person because you guys are not compatible. In today's day and age, there's too many people to meet for you to settle with dating somebody who doesn't appreciate who you are and your hobbies and your goals and vision. You shouldn't sacrifice yourself. And he learned that lesson. Now, perfectly thing for him, he's in a world where he can get back on dating apps. It's going to suck. He's going to go through a lot of people. But you can get back on dating apps. You can find somebody who also have the same values and beliefs as you do. He can go to conventions. He can go to Comic-Cons and collector-cons and meet people who have the same goals and visions, and maybe meet somebody who don't have to be 100% into the same thing he's into, but at least is supportive of him and understand what he's about, and understand that, okay, you don't have to work a 9 to 5. I'm working a 9 to 5. You bring enough money for us to travel? Go for it. I got the 9 to 5 on lock. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Versus worrying about, okay, how can you not paying the bills? How can you not doing this? How can you not working that 9 to 5 job? How can you not getting that college degree because you can't focus? There's other people. Gary Vaynerchuk, a CEO of VaynerMedia, and he's a social media guru. The man could not figure out how to get school. He got D's in school. And then he actually mentioned it recently on one of his episodes, how his teacher wrote him a letter like, if you told me you're going to be the CEO and make the multi-million dollars in this of my class, of my students, I would have laughed you in your face years ago. But here you are. Like, Gary he wasn't successful in school. There's other people who are not successful in school who are great at their talent, who are great at being an actor or being an actress or being a philanthropist or whatever the case may be. They don't have to go to that pathway of getting a degree. There's too many examples in this world for you to sacrifice yourself to date somebody else. And that's the moral of this episode. You shouldn't have to sacrifice yourself to date somebody else. And with today's day and age of dating, if you just don't get along compatibly, I don't think is a word, but y'all just not compatible. Y'all not working together. Y'all visions, y'all interests, and you feel like you can't share your world with somebody because you're afraid they'll make fun of it, then you shouldn't be dating. And it's okay to give it a shot. It's okay to be like, hey, we gave it a shot, but we're not going to force this. And forcing it to marriage is something you probably shouldn't do. If you're realizing, you know what, we're just not compatible. Like, I can't talk about my things. I can't express myself without being made fun of. I can't be who I want generally. Heck, I can't even get into the same things my partner's into, and I don't want to care about that. I don't want to talk about that. If they bring that stuff up to me and you find yourself like cringing at it, then y'all probably just not good to date each other. And versus being in a toxic relationship where y'all both sucking the energy out of each other and being soul suckers and just negativity partners, maybe it's time to be like, hey, you're a great person. I love you, but I'm going to see the door. Wish you the best. I gotta go do the things I'm into and find somebody who also willing to share those things. You don't have to say that, but that's what you should do. And I think this is a good example. Somebody getting divorced over Yugioh is a very good example of, your passions and dreams don't match with somebody else, and that's okay. And he said, he did it himself. He chose that route. Good for him being honest and being honest about that, because a lot of people don't accept that responsibility of saying, I did this myself. I learned my lesson. Yes, I'm hurt. And for him, his outlet is YouTube. That's his outlet to express it. Some people talk to friends and family. But it's okay to give something a shot. It didn't work out. And understand, hey, it's not compatible. And I'm going to move on and do the things that I enjoy doing and while being ashamed and everything. Don't sacrifice yourself to date somebody else. That is the moral of this story. Do not sacrifice yourself to date somebody else and meet somebody else's goals they have set for you. What are your goals? What are your dreams? Know who you are and go out there and have fun dating. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Nerdy Dating. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please put in the comment section below. I'll answer on the show. Other than that, see you guys next episode of Nerdy Dating and keep being awesome. Thank you for watching this episode of Nerdy Dating. I really appreciate it. If there's another episode you want to watch, you can look at it right there. If you want to subscribe to the page and watch more content, it's down here. Also, you have a question about dating you want to put in the comment section, go ahead and do it. Or you can send me your dating question to my email of alizakkanerdydating@gmail.com. That's alizakkanerdydating@gmail.com. And I will answer your question on the next episode of Nerdy Dating. Thank you so much for watching the show. I appreciate you and keep being awesome.